let's get started. We give everyone a couple minutes just to jump on, and then we'll get going. So, I actually, when I was going through the questions, we started to share a little, and then we thought, you know what, let's not share too much so that it's more organic and we can kind of answer the questions and, of course, I don't know, be real, I guess. I don't know. Shaila's like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise I look maybe a little fake. I don't know. just take it real.
But I did somewhat go through the questions myself just to prep a little bit for tonight, so we can make the most of the time that we have together. And I will say that a majority of the questions fell into 3 different categories that you guys were asking about: curiosity or just informative. And what I kind of broke it down to was kind of like the heart of our story, like the story of how we began this Kiwi Lane business, the idea of the Play to Create system, as just simply 3 scrapbookers, the heart of the product in which we produced and came up with and manufacture, and then of course even the heart of like business talk, like day-to-day operations. A lot of you guys had some curiosities about processes and how it works, and we're happy to share some of that as well, the things that we've learned along the way as far as the business operations go. Product, you guys are very clear on that. Hopefully you use the product, love the product. We love the product tremendously. So, alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. The first question, I'm just going to kick it off here with the first question, and it was from Alice Beveroth, and she actually mentioned Debbie. She mentioned you. She said Debbie told me at conference that she was wanting to create embellishments without adding a lot of cost for her design as one of the reasons Kiwi Lane was formed. Can you tell us how you first came up with the idea initially?
Wow, I have to go back a few years to think about that.
Well, it's more than 11, I guess, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, we were all scrapbookers, and we used to get together and scrapbook. But my particular problem was, well, I guess it's not just mine, because we all had big families. We all took a lot of pictures, and we wanted to scrapbook those pictures, but I remember being a collector for a long time. I loved buying the embellishments and the bits and the pieces, and would spend hours organizing them. I don't know if you've ever done that. Just put on a good movie and sit and organize your things. But I quickly found out that it costs a lot of money to keep rebuying those embellishments. And being a mom of 8 kids, and
that's right, Liz, 8 kids. You heard her right.
I just didn't have the income to keep buying those things. So as far as where the idea came from, we just started playing with different ideas and thoughts about it. Well, I can't afford this, but what if we did this, and we sat and we played around with some different designs and realized that I could use the paper I had to make cute shapes and things that would help embellish my page, and for some reason that just really sparked the thought that we could do that. So we started doing that. We just started making them from different materials. Was it cardboard, or I don't know. There was something that we used back then, but it made such a difference to the pages, and all of a sudden I could see it. I could lay it there. I could say I like that. I could just trace it and use it, and I could afford the paper. So, and yeah. It helped me see it, and I needed it.
Yeah. I always kind of like to point that out, just because I think for me, it was this observation of we all have different strengths and weakness. And I feel like that's kind of the core principle. If I was going to say something going back to the story, is that for the 3 of us, actually, we have very much different strengths and different things that are not like necessarily our strength, right? And definitely visuality. Debbie is a very visual, hands-on, like very detailed person, which are strengths, but also can be sometimes work against you too, And I remember for myself, the day we were scrapbooking in Arizona, and I was like, Debbie, you can't see that. I was getting frustrated with you.
I know. I'm like,
frustrated with me because you were like, you're so annoying, get away from me. And I was like, Debbie, what's wrong? Like, just go like this, you know? And it was just.
Susan always sees everything in her head. And I'm like kind of in between, but really too scared to try anything without seeing it.
Yeah.
Not that I can't see it. I just don't want to
cut.
She just like, she takes like 20 steps before she makes that final decision.
That's right. But Shiloh liked to sketch everything out before she did anything to make sure it was going to look just
like I get an idea in I get my idea in my head, but I'm like, I better make sure it looks good first. So that was my sketching step. Susan just saw it and did it. And we were always like, Susan, that's so annoying. 30 minutes and done. I'm like, colors.
I really do think the Play to Create system, as it started to live and breathe, you know, we didn't know initially what we just realized that we came up with a process and that worked for us. Like we really were like, you know, I remember, you know, Debbie, like I said, Debbie and I were scrapbooking, we were talking, and then we were like, throw Shiloh in, because for years, since I'm married into the family, maybe we should mention that. I'm the in-law, you know, Debbie's the mother-in-law, Shiloh's sister-in-law, mother-daughter there.
Mom and dad.
It was just something that we always had in common. So we would gather together, we would scrapbook, you know, we let our kids run free and do different things. I remember when the twins were toddlers, we went on a trip to Shiloh's house and spent the night. That was actually the worst trip I'll ever remember. Because
they were with little twins.
Yeah, they were like 6 months old, and I was sleeping on an air mattress. It was the first time I like left David, and Debbie's like, let's do it. And David had to work. So of course it was like, okay, fine, like get me out of the house. And we did scrapbook all day. Yeah. But I just remember nights with twins on an air mattress was not that fun. That was, you know, we're talking, what, the twins are going to be 18 at the end.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
End of this month, actually, they'll be 18. So anyways, so yeah, so that's kind of how it went. And I'll give a quick briefing just really quickly. I will add this timeline idea book that I'm about to show you guys. I'm going to breeze through it just as far as, because there was like probably 10 questions about our story. So hopefully you guys see some questions in there, and then we'll jump to kind of the heart of the product questions that you guys had. And then if we have any time, anybody that maybe didn't submit a question, you can ask questions for this live Q&A as well. But we have a lot of questions that were submitted. Anyways, so the PDF I'm about to show you is an idea book that we put together actually for a celebration. And the way you can get a copy of it is by placing an order, just simply placing an order, any amount. We decided, you know what, just let's celebrate. And so if there's something on your wish list or the surprise that we're going to share here at the end, if you place it during this weekend, you'll get this idea book for free, this digital idea book. Okay, so let me go ahead and share this. Okay, so really quickly, let's breeze through this just in case nobody is familiar, like I said, and feel free to commentary as well, Debbie or Shiloh, if you have a comment or something. So of course, we started this company 11 years ago in 2009. We actually met up in March previous to technically the August when our business license was officially granted to us. Granted to us. Yeah. But the three of us actually met up in Idaho, which is where this picture is from that you see here in this. And we officially came up with a company name. Actually, I'm going to stop there because that was one of the questions, Shai. How did we come up with our name? I'm going to let you take that one.
Okay. Well, a lot of people think it's because we're from New Zealand or something, but that's not really it. We weren't quite that original.
We do get that question a lot. I know.
I know. Well, it's kind of funny because back when we were trying to pick a name, we were thinking about all these scrapbooking companies. There were these really interesting, like Seven Gypsies and Rusty Pickle and all these things. And we're like, how can we come up with something cute and fresh? And so we tossed around. I mean, it's worse than naming a baby. Like, it was so much work. Like, we just kept tossing ideas back and forth. And we landed on that we wanted to put Lane in there. And we liked that because the whole road feeling, the new direction for scrapbooking. So we knew we liked that part, but we didn't know what to put in front of it. So, I mean, we threw out some random stuff. Like, it just kept going all over the place. And finally one night we ended up over at my sister's house, who lives in Boise, and we were doing a family dinner there, and we're all like just tossing ideas back and forth, what goes with Lane, and we looked over on the counter, and guess what was on the counter? Kiwi. There were kiwis on the counter, and we're like, Kiwi, Kiwi Lane, that's kind of cute. And we kind of knew we wanted something kind of green in the mix. Not necessarily we were thinking that, but we love the color green, so kind of just went really well. But yeah, it's not the most original thing, but that's really where it came from, is inspiration sitting on my sister's kitchen counter. And Kiwi Lane.
And since then, Kiwi, just the term Kiwi, Kiwi-fi, Kiwi style, Kiwi cuteness, Kiwi, it's become, what did you call it, an adjective?
An adjective, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it came up. It was a fruit on the calendar, and it kind of rolled with Lane, Kiwi Lane, and we're like, there we go.
It just felt right.
It did.
Since then, we have on our bucket list to just go to New Zealand, because why not? And it's a tax write-off, right? No, just kidding. And we've actually come up with an acronym that our team member, I believe Amy, came up in one of our team meetings, because we were like, we need to come up with something like KIWI. And so we've actually,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of rolled off, and it stuck with us since, and it's killing it with inspiration. So we're rolling with it, guys. We're rolling with it.
We're rolling with it.
Okay, so that is kind of the brief of that. Let me go through the rest, and it's going to answer a lot of your guys' questions really quickly here. So then, of course, we started to share the product. Again, this is something we created for ourselves. We started an Etsy shop, and people started asking us questions. And one, we just realized the difference. We started to feel not just visually in our results in our scrapbook, but just also the feeling that we felt inside as we scrapbooked, in the sense of fulfillment and joy and that playfulness that kind of came back with the process, the simple process, the back to basics process. We found more joy in different things, but it also, the back to basics allowed us to start using a lot more resources as far as paper go than we ever previously did, and we're happy with the results. So we started to share, and of course the first thing we thought of is like, well, let's go to craft shows. Let's just test this out. And we attended our first craft show in the Simple Treasures craft show, which is the pictures on the left there. And then we attended our first Scrapbook Expo show in Riverside, California in 2010. It was the winter. You guys remember the snow, the snow, which is on the right. Okay, I'm gonna go through this quickly. It's hard for me not to be like, remember? This is what happens when you open your scrapbook books. You know, you just get
right. You reminisce.
Yeah, you get stuck in the things, and you're like, wait, was I opening it to put pages away or look at pages? Which one? Then of course we just started doing shows. The outlets was the way for us to share. Like, sharing was one of the biggest core values that we had from the very beginning. Was how can we share this, and sharing it with others. Whether that was the process and the product, but also our ideas. That was something that was very important to us from the very beginning, was just sharing freely is what we call it. So, so we wanted to make sure to do that in different ways. So all of those expos, actually 2010, 3 shows, 11, 7 shows, 12 shows, 13, 14 shows, 2014, 15 shows, and 2015, 19 shows. And you'll see that kind of go into different things. I'll let you guys read more of the time. Like I said, you can grab this in the thing, but we kept doing shows and we kept sharing it. And then we started to really, gather together, because at this time we were in different places. Well, Debbie moved to Cedar, where I was, Utah, and we kind of set up shop a little bit there. And Shiloh, you were in Nevada at this time.
Yep.
And no way we were going to move to Nevada. So
I don't blame you.
Her husband got resituated in Idaho, and so then we were like, yeah, we can do Idaho.
Idaho's good.
So that's actually currently where our shop is, and we just kept traveling with the purpose of sharing. Everything was back to how can we share this with other people. It was I got caught motion sickness. Traveling just, I remember my family teasing me because they know how motion sickness I was as growing up. And they were like, for someone that doesn't like to travel, you sure traveling a lot. Like,
you don't want to sit beside her in a plane when she's pregnant after drinking a cup of hot chocolate.
No.
Nope.
That must be a vivid
She's a
memory.
lot better now.
I am better now. I can get a little bit better.
For a while.
We're all better now.
And occasionally, I think this Philadelphia trip was like one of maybe 3 out of all the trips that we did. We actually took a day or 2 more just to explore and to like have a little bit of day off. But most of the time it was literally fly in, fly out, just because we all have
so we get home to our families.
Yeah.
We could be gone so long.
So we continued to travel. And then of course we filed for a patent on our creative process. That was a very interesting process there. We of course upgraded our website, and then at this point it was just more about how can we grow, how can we continue to share. Debbie, I want to say at this point one of the questions was like, why did you guys decide to consider direct sales? It was before this, because about 2009, about 2010 we started thinking about the direct sales, because we were still in Cedar and we went and saw lawyers and all of these different things. So you want to share a little bit more about that?
I remember distinctly the day I thought we should go direct sales. Somebody had emailed us. We were living in Cedar City, which is where I had moved to. So at least 2 of us were in the same city together as we're trying to start a business. And I had gotten an email from somebody who loved our products a lot and said, I know I could sell these. And for some reason, that email kicked off in me a feeling of, this is what we should do. And I remember getting in the car and driving over, Susan, to your house. We were packing for a show, and I was wearing that brown shirt and my handmade tiny floral earrings.
I have a picture of it. Hold on, you keep talking.
I remember sitting out in the car before I walked in, and we were cutting the templates ourselves at that time. So I cut the templates. I had a machine that I cut. I made myself some tiny little floral earrings that I could wear to the shows. And then I don't know why, because it's this picture, but I walked in, I said, don't take a picture of me. I wasn't, she's always doing that. There I am.
It's a nice picture of you, Mom.
Yeah, but but it was that day, and that's probably why I remember the exact day, because I went in to tell her, Susan, I got an email from, and this is what she said, and I just felt so strongly, and of course she agreed, but it wasn't the right time.
Well, it just cost a lot of money. So you're going to see in the rest of the timeline, as for those of you that you get it. Yeah, it's a process. We wanted something. It's a visual product, but we also wanted to give the opportunity as stay-at-home moms that we were ourselves raising children. We found this passion and this desire to share something that we love with others, and naturally, of course, it started to help with the income and just different things like that. Especially in 2009, 2010, those were hard years. We don't talk about that often, actually, but like I was on food stamps. We lost our jobs, right after. Debbie was having a really hard time.
Theaters part-time.
Yeah.
And we had been on food stamps because my husband was sick and couldn't work.
And so we really were needing something. And so to have something that you can love and to kind of get out and share it with other people was really a huge blessing, a huge blessing. So we wanted to give that opportunity to other people too, and just have that ability to partner. So we learned a lot about that process. And then of course, that's when we started to really educate ourselves on what was needed. How to get serious about business plans, how to get serious about all of those financial things, all the business talks. And that's really what we did. A lot of our shows, our income from our shows, we put right back into the business. We put it all back in with the vision of expanding beyond past the shows and past growing in that way. So again, I'm not going to read all these timelines. I'm just giving a highlight because so many people ask questions with the submissions. But that was a big time. 2013, we produced and released our first idea book.
I remember that. You laughed at me.
I did?
You did. I remember, because I'm being silly. Susan just laughed at me.
What did I laugh at you for?
Oh, God, we got our first idea book delivered straight to a show in California. And I was so excited to see it that I saw the palette sitting there by our booth, and I ran up and I opened it up and I took out a book and I turned around and I read back to you and you're like, calm down, calm down.
Yes. So, okay, I won't jump course because I know a lot of people have questions about the idea books in general, but it is literally like, I always relate it to like having a child. Like, it takes like 9 months of, you know, baking it per se, and then the other. So, so we kept planning, we kept business growing, and we kept, you know, doing different things like that. You know, I'm going to stop sharing right here. Maybe we'll come back to that. But guys, there's, you know, 20 something pages of what I just showed to you guys as far as the Kiwi story. And again, that will be free with any order that you place over this weekend. So we have a fun additional product that we're excited to announce to you guys here in a bit too. Okay, so next questions. Here are a little bit more personal, harder ones. You guys ready?
Oh, great. Maybe I should have prepped. No,
no, just kidding. What is a memorable lesson you learned about yourself through founding and working with Kiwi Lane? Anyone? Any takers?
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
So there's two things that come to mind for me. I grew up very, very shy, like ridiculously shy. And when we first started Kiwi Lane, I can't say that I was a super confident person. But one of the best things that happened while we went and did shows, and I would sit and I would demo all day, was that I learned to become more confident in talking with people and presenting things that I love to people. And that's followed me through the rest of my life since then. Like I just feel more sure of myself, and I love that. That's something that I've gained. And the other big thing that I got through Kiwi is, well, the obvious, you know, scrapbooking is so easy for me now, and I just love it. But I did learn that I was more creative than I thought I was. And I learned a lot of skills. I'm a self-taught graphic designer now, and that was because of Kiwi. I never would have pursued that. I never would have learned how to design paper or products or things like that without being involved in this company. And it's awesome because I love it. I love designing. I love to express my creativity that way. And I would never have had that if I hadn't been part of this company. So those are a couple of big things. I mean, there's so many I could name, but those are two that just really stand out for me in my life, blessings that I've had.
All right, Deb, go.
So remember how I always say you and I are so much alike, you know? At times we will, if we're in the same room, we will actually sigh at the same time.
It's true.
Or we will say a phrase or word at the same time. So Susan did give us a heads up on this so we could think about it. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here too long. And so the first thing I wrote down was, I've learned that I'm more creative than I ever thought I was. Which is what you said first too. But it's true. I never really thought of myself as creative. I had a very talented mom who did a lot of arts and crafts and sewing and all that, and I really couldn't do a lot of that. I just loved scrapbooking. I really did. From the moment I was invited to a church activity where they were scrapbooking together, and I thought, I can't do that. I don't know, but I just tried, and it just kept going. And over the years, that confidence in being creative. Just being creative affects every other avenue of my life. That gives me confidence to be creative in other areas. The other thing was that I learned that I can do anything I have to do. I can learn anything I have to know, and just keep on keeping on. And that's just a business. That's just starting something with all your heart and wanting to see it succeed, and just being willing to work really hard. And we've changed hats so many times, or had piled up hats so many times, and And
hats as far as duties, it's a common business term, hats.
I know.
Hats wear. Yeah.
And then the other thing, it's funny because Shala mentioned the shows, but what grabbed our hearts at the beginning when we were doing those shows for so many years was seeing the faces of people after we demoed and showed them the possibilities with Kiwi Lane products, with the designer templates, showing the albums, and they'd go, you could see the moment they got it. And then they'd go back to their tables and they would scrapbook and they'd come back and they'd say, look what I just made.
Yeah.
And we'd ring a cowbell and we'd say, yay. And it was really fun. But I learned that I love seeing people happy. I love helping make people happy. And that's been the journey we have for Kiwi.
And that's why she oversees our Kiwi Lane experience, or our relationship support department. I said, Debbie, that's where you belong. We need to put you there. Yeah. Okay, so it is like my brain was like, whoa, that was a deep question. There are so many skills. I remember one time I was talking to even my dad, and we were talking business and just general like skills that you have to learn about, like just running a business, operating a business. And he was like, who am I talking to right now? You know, which I love the creative part, but then you also have to do like, you know, the behind the scenes work, which sometimes like is really not the fun part, but you learn so much. And like the same thing, I've learned that everything seems impossible until it's done. Like there is nothing that you cannot Google, that you cannot research, that you cannot like educate or watch something, especially with the world we live in now. Like there's just so many resources to expand your skills in different ways. So we're very self-learned in a lot of things. Yeah, I was never a graphic designer either. Like Shyla, like it was just like, oh, okay, well, let's
learn out of necessity.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it our way. Like we tried working with other graphics. Remember at the time, Shy, we were like, no,
it didn't quite work. We're like, we knew what we wanted. It didn't quite, like trying to tell somebody else it just didn't work. So
anyways, but yeah, I think the biggest thing that I have really, really absorbed and taken away from this journey as far as growth goes is just realizing how much God is actually part of like our day-to-day, like our career, our lives, our families, like every single aspect of our lives, our passions, our dreams, our desires, our fears, our like all of the above. And we've always been so prayerful about every decision, and even prayerful on the scalability, like when we grow, like how fast we grow, because it's always a balance when you start a business. And I've heard stories on multiple ends of the spectrum, you know, like certain things going to the wayside or these ones. And just, I feel like for me, it's always just this observational from my relationship with God actually crazy increased during the Kiwi Lane experience, just to see him actually push, like I feel like push me in different areas to keep driving this force for whatever many reasons that is the plan. So that's my honest answer. So okay, all right, so let's see, what has been the biggest surprise for you? Anyone?
Oh, biggest surprise?
Yeah, that one's kind of, I didn't prep you guys for that one.
How hard software is.
This is true.
It is one products made.
It is still the one skill, for whatever it's worth, that is a little bit out of our control. We have to depend on some resources. We've gotten some pretty dependable people over the years now, but yeah, it's not like, I don't know, we can't really go Google coding. Like,
right.
So that is one skill that we are always like, we wish it was in our control, like, you know, and it's just one of those things that you kind of have to depend on third parties in most cases. So yeah. How has your original vision for Kiwi Lane changed since you started this journey? And in what ways has it stayed the same? That was from Lindsay.
Lindsay's been around.
She has been.
I would say, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw it out there, is that the original vision for Kiwi Lane, the vision kind of came in like steps.
Yeah, I was gonna say bits and pieces. Like we kept getting that inspiration from God for the next one. We're like, woo! And then
I remember that we decided to do shows to plant. We said we want to plant kiwi seeds all over the country.
Yeah.
So that when we eventually went home party,
people
there
would know.
Be people all around that at least had heard our name before and kind of knew what our products were. And I feel like that plan worked well for us at the time.
It was hard to do a little bit of a transition, but again, it was just expanding. We wanted to expand beyond that. We knew that just your traditional retail. So for us, it was more like we wanted to go out and share it. And again, it was purely for funds also. Like we needed the funds to run a business to keep the, you know.
Well, you got to have it to grow. And then we needed to share it to grow. And it just,
I think though, if I was going to say what has stayed the same is one of our needs to share. The word share, SHARE, is just something that has always been from the very beginning till now. Something that we strive to do in different ways. Actually, I do have, oh my gosh, 7:30. Time goes by so quickly, guys. The first mission statement was to simplify the scrapbooking process, minimize the cost of creating a beautiful layout, and providing inspiration that will unlock the inner designer in all of us.
Unlock the
second mission statement.
We've gone through a few drafts.
We kept refining, and that's just how life is. You refine, you go through the fire in some different ways, and you learn and you grow, like you live and learn. I'm a huge believer in that now, live and learn. And then, so anyway, second statement, to simplify the scrapbooking process by inspiring and sharing with others the sense of fulfillment and creative freedom that framing, which is what we used to call play to create, by the way, has brought to our scrapbooking, experience. The third statement, to add fulfillment to the lives of others by helping them to play joyfully, share freely, and inspire sincerely. And our fourth statement, hopefully our final, we'll see as we progress. And really, I guess it's learning. Oh gosh, this is really like going to sound odd to some people, but for me, Kiwi Lane is a human being on its own. It's comprised of different individuals and personalities and passions and dreams and desires, and all of that goes into it. But this thing is a living thing, and it grows. It evolves and it grows. And our job is to make sure that it's evolving and growing in the right direction for all of those involved. So that's kind of how I see it. Weird, right? Yeah, I know. And the fourth statement is to inspire others to live more playful, creative, and connected lives. And that was at the beginning of 2019 that we really felt, again, impressed. Actually, we all came, you guys came out to Carolina at that time. Yeah. And that's when we decided, 3 days of banging our head? Mm-hmm. It was like legit 3 days.
Another baby was born.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what do we feel about this? Why do we feel that way? Like, what is important? Like, why are we thinking that? Like, you know, but it was just, I definitely was like, don't you guys want a vacation? You need to fly out here. I really feel impressed that we're supposed to take a stab at this direction and our message and our mission. So, but the mission is what drives us for sure. Always has been. So that's never really changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary Bowden, a couple more, and then we'll go into some product questions. Has the success of Kiwi Lane met your expectation or surpassed them?
We're all waiting for each other.
Meeting my expectation. You know, way back when we began, I knew we had something special, and going around and sharing it with people all over the country just reconfirmed that to me. And I've just always known Kiwi would grow and go, and it's just doing that. That's exactly what it's doing. It's changed over the years, but it's still that core value of sharing and wanting to help people, and seeing them be happy, and we're still doing that. And
well, and again, I think it goes back to
my expectations.
Yeah, like helping others.
Growing.
Yeah, helping others. Again, I think that's just one of the things that is so important to our story, is that like it happened first for us. It's like we started to feel more creative. We started to feel like more joy out of the process. We started to feel like, you know, we could do these things and share them with other
people.
people.
Feel that way.
Right, right. But it's just that kind of need to allow others to hopefully experience that and kind of, you know, don't knock it till you try it kind of concept, because I would have been the same way. We went through all the levels of it, but ultimately it comes down to our, I don't know, this fulfillment comes through creating. There's their passion. There's something so beautiful though with scrapbooking when you combine like pictures with creativity. That's one of the things we all three of us. But then we were like, really the core though is just so much the joy that comes when people start believing they're creative and stop doubting themselves and questioning themselves, you know, and just let the freedom, the play, which is where play to create end up morphing into, is that's exactly what you're tapping into, is to give yourself permission to explore that. Okay. Oh, and then Mary Bowden, she says, do you remember what year you were at the show at Mesa, Arizona Convention Center? That's where I first met you guys. I don't remember the year. I should have looked it up. I have it all written out in a document somewhere, but I don't know, Mary. Sorry, I should have done a little homework on that one for you. But
there's a lot of shows.
No, we drove to that show.
Right, from Utah. Okay, let me see. If you could go back before Kiwi Lane was founded in the early stages when it was founded, what is one or two things you would tell your past self to look forward to concerning the business or yourself? I shouldn't have read that question. And then we're going to move on to the other category. I was like, wait, there's one more, and that was from my daughter, Abby. Dang her, she's too deep.
You're very deep. Abby?
Okay, so let me ask that question one more time. What? If you could go back before Kiwi Lane was founded in the early stages, what is one thing you would tell your past self to look forward to concerning the business or yourself? Oh, that's really deep. Let's process that one. Maybe we'll.
I know we might have needed more time to think through this one. I'm trying to think.
Okay, I just saw her.
Hold on.
Just hold on.
I was just gonna say it will.
Enjoying the journey.
It's gonna work. Just keep going.
That would be probably, I mean, there were definitely some moments where it felt really hard. So, you know, but I mean, we made it through it.
Takes a lot of effort and a lot of determination. I think that those two words actually are, again, words that always come back to my mind when I think about like past, like determination, effort, like keep going, because again, you're juggling so much. You're juggling just trying to learn I mean, none of us have a business degree, like, you know, and then of course, everything else. What?
We're moms that continually
learn.
Moms.
Self-taught for all the stuff we need to do now.
That's right.
I've added a lot more titles to my name, but yes, in the beginning, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom. So yeah. Okay, some personal questions. Let's lighten it up a little. Heather says, fantastic question, Abby. She's my writer, Heather. She she could get pretty out there and deep. Anyways, that's another discussion for another day. Okay, so Mindy says, if you could only eat one treat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cheesecake.
See's candy or Pocky sticks?
Oh, you had to say See's candy.
I'm surprised you didn't say See's candy.
That's because they've been talking about cheesecake at the office.
I mean, they have such a variety with See's candy because it can all go under that umbrella of See's candy, right?
Susan.
I know. I didn't think about it.
Susan, coconut, anything.
I do like coconut. I do. You know, the crazy thing, it sounds pathetic. So it's so pathetic. I'm like, protein shakes?
I was going to say, maybe a smoothie, if I could choose.
Because I'm not a foodie. Like, it's so inconvenient to me. I'm like, oh, I got to eat. I do love a donut. So I guess donuts.
She does love a donut.
I do love donuts. Donuts are good. Kim, she asked, how long have you and your husbands have been married? That's a really personal one. Maybe he
21
was
years.
directing that towards when.
Getting married, Shiloh.
21 years.
Yeah, we're coming up on 20 years in December.
I know I had to sit there and count, but I'm like, Jason's 20,
Right.
21,
19
22.
years. I don't know. Debbie's like, okay, think about that, Deb.
You were
I'm a
married
widow.
to Sarah.
She is a
So
widow, but you were married for
coming
many
up
years
on
before that.
19 in December, right?
I believe in the afterlife, so we'll go with I got
Yes.
married in 1975 and it's 2020. So
20 years old.
45 years.
Have you ever got a paper cut using your paper?
Oh,
Using so much
our
paper all the
paper's
time?
too thick.
I don't think I've ever got a paper cut from scrapbooking.
I don't think so, but I got one from a Costa Vida lid, and that scares me every time I take those lids off now.
I honestly, that is a question for the comments, you guys. Ask. I'm curious. Have any of you ever had a paper cut from scrapbooking paper?
Not that I've ever recalled. I mean, maybe, but nothing that stands out.
Yeah, I definitely use paper oft, but I've had paper cut, but never from a paper scrapbooking. We must have a mutual love for each other.
Respect it.
Okay, so let's talk about some design play to create questions, moving a little bit more into the process, and then we'll talk about some, again, that heart of product, and then even some of your guys' questions as far as processes and day-to-day operations of the business. So some of the questions we got from June Richards is, how do you decide on which templates to use on your layouts?
I guess I'll go. For me, it usually comes down to my paper. Like if I guess it's theme and paper. So if I'm scrapbooking a certain theme, I'll try to keep that in mind. But a lot of times I'll be inspired by the feel of the paper. Like, is it more elegant? Is there a fun little something in one of the patterns that reminds me of a template that I could pull in? So I can kind of mimic that feel through it. So probably, I mean, that's, you know, it's usually
Designs in
the pictures or stuff that I would pull from the paper that I'm working with.
Yeah. We just lost Debbie. Maybe she does have a meeting, but I thought she was going to hold out for another 5 minutes. We'll see if she comes back. We'll text her really fast. At least have her come back and say bye. If that's the case, right. I don't think she would do that.
I think she would have said bye. So
yeah, she would have. So she must have just been accidentally. Okay. I think, yeah, definitely the designs in the paper is what encourages me. Sometimes I'll find something relatable to a template or just different things like that. Of course, if it has a certain theme, like from my pictures, that's where the inspiration comes to, you know, depending on what themes or different things that you are working on as well. Okay. Let's see, how often do you scrapbook, whether you're doing a video or not? Hey, Deb, you're muted.
Is she in there?
Yeah, she's back.
Okay. I'm back with my
Okay, we're going to wrap up and let you say goodbye here in a minute. Shiloh and I can hang out for a few more minutes. Anyone that's interested, just answer a couple more questions, but Debbie does have a class she's got to teach.
I have to teach a class, so. What was the question?
The question was, how often do you scrapbook? So
I
scrapbook every month for sure, because
I scrapbook every month for pretty much a solid week.
For Kiwi Club.
Evenings and weekends for Kiwi Club.
Yeah. So if anyone's not familiar with the Kiwi Club, the PDF that comes, the free ideas, again, the sharing of ideas, again, something that went back to our core as we expand and grow. It was something that we wanted to keep original to the founders, especially in the realm of scrapbooking, because that's something that that's where it sparked, right? And so we wanted to keep that core there and centered. So we came up with a process in general that we all scrapbook with the kids every single month. And those are what you see in the idea book from us, what we were inspired to do. So let's talk about that process for a little bit, because it's an interesting process. Like, we don't see what each other scrapbooks.
Nope. Sometimes on occasion, once I'm uploading all my sample pictures, I'll be like, what they do this month? But half the time we don't all put them in at the same time. So,
which I must say, I think that's one of I enjoy it. It's definitely, we kind of smile and smirk because it's like, oh my gosh, okay, wait, I got to get these in by a certain time frame so that the team can do their job in sense of like putting it together in a PDF and such. But yeah, like when I believe in strongly when we say like the Kiwi Club, like set aside some time every month to use that kit. There's so much joy and the consistency of creating. So outside of that, go ahead.
I think we might have lost her again. I don't know, her internet
problems. Yeah. So I don't know how you can sum that up except for, like Debbie says, like a full week. She's got that laid out on her table. Mine is always spread out until I'm done.
With mine,
Debbie doesn't see it. Debbie's not in necessarily the product committee. So she
I don't see the kit until it arrives at my door. I just got the next month. I'm so excited. So I get it. I'm so excited. I open it up. I spread out all the papers and look at the templates and look at each of the cards and start thinking about pictures. And then I spend, pretty much a week working on it.
I spend several solid days for sure doing mine. Lately, I've been stretching my kit quite a lot, and I do this crazy scrapbooking thing where I lay out like 4 layouts, and then I put all my templates on all 4 layouts. And then I start cutting all my pieces to make sure my kit will stretch long enough for all of it. But they're great.
I don't do that. I'm going to start with layout 1, layout 2, layout 3.
Because it's probably a little, but I open it and then there's so many ideas. I'm like, I have lots of pictures. Susan's like super caught up.
No, I'm not.
Not anymore.
Well, you've always been way more caught up than me. I literally have buckets. So I'm only
3 years behind, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Pictures for this kit. Right. So literally, right. So I've been spreading my kits out more by adding in a few backgrounds because I like to get as much as I can out because I have so many pictures that go with it. So
which, before anybody asks, we are looking at an option for an add-on or different versions, but it always comes back to dang shipping on those things. So we are exploring different ways on the Kiwi Club. Yes, we have futures for growing Kiwi Clubs as well, which is part of the product questions. Okay, so Debbie, you got what, like 3 minutes?
I've got maybe a minute or 2.
Okay, let's go to, because I know favorite template.
Oh, you could skip that. I have the hardest time.
What's your most used?
I actually genuinely love what you said whatever a week ago. Well, just we were talking about it. You said the Kiwi Clubs. You were like genuinely love them.
Comes in the mail. They're brand new to me. I haven't seen them before, and I get to play with them pretty in depth for a week, and they become my favorite. I was trying to think of, are we showing pictures? Because I'm gonna have to leave. My favorite page.
Oh,
the next question I did prep them for was your favorite layout was one of the questions.
Okay, and
share that one.
Fails. So this one is, it's going to be backwards. Sorry, so I can see that.
Do this.
It's my.
There you go.
Yours is okay.
You're good.
It was, mine will be backwards.
Okay, so here's one page. My parents when they got married, and the other side. This was
remember that layout in the idea book. Yeah.
Quite a while ago. But lately, when I pulled real quick, is this one with the hexagons because it was super fun. I opened that kit, saw those hexagons, and I'm like, what am I going to do with those? And oh my gosh, one of my absolute favorite in the Kiwi Club. And the beautiful pictures of my daughter, Rachel.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to need to go because I teach a class every Thursday night for family history. So it was fun hanging out with you. I just need a potty break before I start the next class. So
bye, Debbie.
Go a minute early and then log in over there.
Okay.
Good luck with you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Shai, let's see your favorite layout.
Susan, you know how, so I'm really indecisive. You know this about me.
I know. I prepped them again for this one, you guys, and I literally was like, okay. And I was going down and searching through my books, and my brain literally was like, I do not compute. Like, it was like, I don't understand what you're asking of me. This is such a hard question.
Can there be a free bit? I went through all of my albums this afternoon after she said that. I'm like, which one do I pick?
I know.
There's so many.
What I did, then I'll go first. I just went, what is my latest one? So I only went for the last two, like the last year and a half, and I just went
really good.
Yeah, which one caught my attention? Because if I would have kept going, I would have been like, but what about this one, or what about this one? This one stood out to me today. This one right here. And I will add that
I do love that one.
Yeah, most of my favorites, and I'm not trying to pitch, but this is the honest truth. Are the Kiwi Club ones.
I was doing the same thing today.
I was like, wow, I like that one. I like that one because, again, paper makes a huge difference. And so to have them cohesively basically spotlight your pictures is really nice, because it really enhances your pictures instead of competes with your pictures. I also love this layout for whatever it's worth, just because of the symbolism of which it talks about. And it's just talking about like love life and be happy, and just the joy. The kit itself was called Happy, but just this reminder to be like where your feet are, as a working mom, full-time worker. Like, it's little moments like that I truly enjoy, that like I try to make sure to balance as much as possible, but just when, work, I'm a big believer in working hard, playing hard too. So when I'm outside of it, be where your feet are and give it 100%. And so I think that's also why that page really just speaks to me, because I'm really trying to, I'm not perfect at that. I'm trying. And I think that that's why that page speaks to me, is because it's so prominent in my life as far as a focus right now. So if a focus changes, I'm sure my favorite layout will change too, because that's how I work.
I love that. Well, I went through all my layouts and I did the same thing. I'm like, I'm not sure. I was feeling the same way about my Kiwi, like Kiwi kits. I'm like, these are all my best layouts, I would say. Or I feel like every one of them, I'm like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. So I actually was like, well, maybe I should just show some of my super old ones that are still ones that I like. So that's where I kind of dug in. And some people will probably, well, you'll notice, you'll have seen these before, because pretty much everything's in idea books. But this one's still one of my top faves. It's actually on the cover of one of the idea books.
It is on the first
one. I love how pretty it is. I don't often get to do super just pretty because I only have one daughter. So I love that one. And I'll show you one of my ones that I like of boys. I don't know if you guys see that.
I love the clean feel on that one. Yeah.
That's what I like.
That was from camping, and that's like your son, and you really embrace that side of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it because it's clean, it's very boyish, and it just shows him off pretty well. So these are a couple of old ones, and then I'll just show you really quick. This one's really not the best layout.
Three. This is Shiloh for you guys. I know. This is typical Shy. I said one layout, Shy.
Now I'm going to tell you a memorable story.
Okay.
So really quick, my family back in, I guess it's 2013, we started road tripping as a family for our vacations. And it started by, we were going back to visit my husband's parents in Illinois at their mission. And so anyway, we decided to make this into this big long road trip with the kids. And thankfully they were old enough to handle it. But we made this crazy detour to go see the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. And it was all due to the Weird Al song that maybe you guys have, well, maybe nobody's really heard it. But it's our road trip song. And so ever since then, it's inspired all these road trips. So you'll see lots of travel pictures. And it's all, a lot of it is based on trying to hit these weird random stuff from this Weird Al song about the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota.
Well, now you're going to go Google it if you're not. I'm intrigued. So.
Random song, but every time we get in the car for a road trip, the kids are like, put our song on. And so we listen to it, and we're checking them off. Cranberry World, Tupperware Museum, all these weird stops. Yep, we've been there.
Okay, so we are coming up on the hour. Legit, we probably have like 10 or 15 more questions for anyone that wants to stick around for those. They're pretty product related, which is something that Shiloh and I both work on. We're happy to answer them, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner for those of you that are like, okay, ladies, love hanging, but let's get to the business, right? So you have to be present. So we're gonna give a go at this. Kathy Schwartz, are you present? If so, you are a lucky winner. I'll give you a few minutes. And if so, then if not, then we will go to the next person on the list. So I'll give it a few minutes. Kathy Schwartz, I'm looking for you to comment yes before we pick another winner. And the lucky winner of tonight's live is going to win a $25 store credit. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So Kathy, are you with us tonight live? Yay, she's here! Yay, Kathy! Congrats. Okay, Kathy, we have you down and you RSVP'd, so we have your details. So I will make sure that tomorrow to pass that along to the team, and they will get that added, the points as far as the store credit goes, into your online account for you. Okay. So the other surprise, and then we'll go back to some of these questions, is we do have another surprise for you guys that we were waiting for tonight to announce. And basically, you know, we're trying to decide, okay, how do we want to like celebrate, you know, this 11th year? And so, of course, naturally, we're like, well, let's do some ideas because we love to share freely. And so we thought that would be a fun twist, is just to do the timeline. So if you want to see the rest of it, basically just place an order, something on your wish list. But we do have a little bit of an exciting news as far as maybe something that will speak to some of you guys, because you've been asking about it. Actually, let me jump to the question. I'm pretty sure Carrie Galbraith. Wouldn't it be great if we could do a pre-order for the August 2018 Kiwi Club kit too? Wouldn't that be great, Shy?
It'd be pretty awesome.
It would be pretty awesome because we just did the June and July. So the next absolutely most demanded Kiwi Club from previous in the vault is the August 2018 Kiwi Club kit. Tammy Hagan also said, wouldn't it be nice if we had the August 2018 Kiwi Club kit, or at least the templates? That sure would be great and make this party worth it. Well, I kind of laughed when I saw those come in this last couple of days. I was like, well, that's hilarious. So we are excited to definitely announce we are going to be releasing for a pre-sale for anybody that might have missed it, just like we did with our June, July, the option for the August, which includes the paper, but we're not going to do the exact paper. I still have some scraps from it, Shy. So this other kit was like this. Let me show you guys. We actually recolored it in Kiwi colors, this kit. So if any of you guys happen to get this kit the first time around, at least the paper, well, it's recolored and refurbished, and we actually added a couple more title cards to it as well. So there's a little bit difference in that too. So Kiwi colors. So let me share that screen. So just like our previous pre-release, the way it worked is you can option to buy just the paper, which again, it's not exact. We adjusted those colors in this kit. Or you can buy the accessory set if you don't happen to have this one. It's one of my favorites. Sometimes because it was 2 years ago, I want to go use it, but then I'm like, well, then I'll just frustrate people. So I'll just
I think about that sometimes too, but it is such a cute set.
Or of course, if you want the two and you don't have the template yet, then there'll be option to buy the kit together. So an email will be going out about this in the morning, but something to look forward to. This pre-sale option will be available for 1 week. So you have the week to place in that pre-order, and then it will come in, I believe, in 3 months, just like our June, July's that we just shipped. So super love it. Here, I'm going to give a quick breeze through so you can kind of get a close look. The balloons are upside down on that one.
Whoops.
But the colors are really, really fun. I'm excited about it. But again, it's in the colors of Kiwi Lane palette, and they're a lot of fun. So, and of course, it's all about birthdays and celebrating and making a wish and just different things. So we're excited. Again, that will be in the shop starting tomorrow. You will have an option to pre-sell. And then, of course, any orders that you place, you automatically get our timeline digital idea book for free. For all of you guys that have online accounts already, you created the account, especially if a creative partner introduced you to Kiwi Lane. Those are already linked and tagged in the system. So feel free to go online and place that order. It will connect all to the right places when you initially started your set. So definitely, if some of that concern as far as how that works in the new system, that's exactly how it works. The accounts are tagged to the person that referred you. So introduced you. So that's exciting. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the comments. Hopefully you guys are excited as much as I am. I'm really excited for that because I have some birthday pictures and such that I'm like, that color palette. It'll be a fun, new addition.
It's a pretty color palette,
yeah.
Something still not super gender specific, so it's nice and broad still.
Yeah, it's bright. We know how much you guys are loving little bright, but we love to mix it up so that it's fun to kind of add a little bit more brightness into that. It will be available tomorrow morning, you guys. They'll have it bright and early in the morning so that it kind of spreads out. Again, this is a pre-sale, so don't crash our system, guys. Everybody gets to place an order. Everyone gets to place one. There's no limit. That's what the nice thing about the pre-sale are. And it's actually really helped take a lot of that pressure off of us too. So for whatever it's worth. But so no worries. Everybody will get one on these ones. Okay. Yay. Yeah. All right, Shai, you ready for a couple more questions? So if you guys want to stick around, definitely stick around. We'll probably go, I don't know, probably another 15 minutes or so. You good with that, Shai?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. All righty. So that is something to look forward to. And let me come down here. So like I said, a lot of the questions was like the heart of the story, which we didn't even go through the rest of the timeline. So check out the timeline digital idea book. It will kind of pin the milestones throughout the 11 years, some things. But we did talk about a little bit, like when it comes to like working in the business, so the heart of the day-to-day operations, right? We often use the terms switching of hats, which we did lots and lots of times. You know, initially in the first 3 or 4 years, we all just kind of like dug deep and we all just, you know, did different things and where needed, and kind of like if somebody else was more busy in their life, we kind of picked up in all these just different areas. But it's interesting because as you watch this timeline, it's like, and we shift processes again, and we shift hats and duties again, as we were growing and grateful that we were able to pull more team members on, like more employees to help in different areas. And so that's, besides working with creative partners and besides like being able to share this with all of you guys as consumers and customers, it's been fun to grow and to learn to have relationships with our employees, our day-to-day employees as well. So with that said, you're going to see that shift a lot. And I know, so I'm going to just kind of share that really fast because I think a couple questions were asking like specifically about you, Shai. Kind of like, yeah, kind of your role. So if we were going to kind of share that like right now.
The quiet person in the group.
Yeah, the quiet person. Which I think that's great that you shared that, just kind of your need, definitely a lot of comfort zones and different things. But, you know, I don't even know what year we really, Shiloh's like really wanted, she had a lot of family things going on and just different things. And so we wanted to put strengths where strengths are. And Shiloh, product department, like we said, like Debbie's not even, she actually is in other areas because we only have so much capacity and energy. And so Shiloh works in the product department with the committee. So we'll try to get her to do more lives, you guys.
Sure. Yeah.
But she does have a pretty, just a little bit more on the family side and just different things like that. So as we pulled on employees, she was able to make that choice, but of course still be a founder and all that.
Right. Which I was very grateful for. You know, I've had different levels of responsibilities and things, and as my life has shifted, thankfully there's been other people to come in and help in those areas that I used to take care of and put me in a spot that works for my family right now. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Grateful to be part of the company still. And I love it.
Right. And I think that's natural. It's important for people to know, like, that's natural in business, the fluctuation and just different things. So, so that is kind of the thing there. So let's talk about our, a lot of questions, probably 5 questions on our process for coming up with product. Just like, how do you, here, let me get down to the questions. Can you talk about the process of coming up with new template designs? That's what's from Tina Christensen. Jill asked the same thing. Lori asked the same thing. Kathy asked the same thing.
They're all curious.
They're all curious. So I will read this one thing and then we'll kind of kick it off. And it's in one of our core values. And our goal when it comes to product, we've really tried to refine that as far as our product experience goes. And this is what it says. We care about affordability, quality, and simplicity. We serve by providing affordable, high-quality ideas, products, methods, and processes that simplify creativity. We are in tune with the needs of the majority of those we seek to inspire, but we understand that we can't make everybody happy. In order to help as many people as we can in their creative journey, we share why we create the products that we do, why we make the decisions we make, and how we feel it will help them. We know those we serve because we are like them. We understand the value of creativity. We use our own products, apply our own processes, and implement our own ideas into our personal lives so that we can learn and level up our offerings, but also because we love what we do. Our mission is to create things that are cute, simple, useful, and meaningful to those who use them. And we define these 4 important qualities in the following ways. Yes, we had an argument on what defines cute, so we had to define it.
Mainly because David didn't quite understand what
he did it. Okay, I'm off to here. But he was like,
this is what it means.
He's like, cute is often refined to like little infants. And I was like, nah, Google cute.
It's like, tried to give us examples, and I'm like, that's cute. Like, he pulled things up online. What word would you use to describe that? Cute.
It was great, guys. It's one of those things that'd be there. He would pull up another one and I'd be like, he's like, what word for this? Cute. Like,
that's it.
Anyways, cute, attractive and pretty or enduring way, appealing, simple, uncomplicated in form, nature, or design, easily understood or done, presenting no difficulty, useful, able to be used for a practical purpose or in several ways. So it's diversity, multi-purpose use is why we try to really think about our Kiwi Club so intensely, is because we want whatever those kids get, because we understand those of you guys receiving it are different various memories, backgrounds, diversity, like, you know, so we tried to make sure we have diversity in those title cards, everything double-sided, what goes on what side of the background and what goes on the other side. And meaningful, having a serious, important, or useful quality of purpose, sincere expression, relevant and significant. So those are kind of our check marks that we do this. So the first step is we have a deadline. We meet together as a committee. Currently the committee is myself, Shiloh, and Mindy, who oversees our product experience department. She kind of keeps us on point, making sure that we hit every single deadline when it comes to product creation, because even a day or 2 off of manufacturing can put a whole PO weeks behind. So it's great. So tune in anytime, Shy. So we go through that. We gather ideas. We have a bucket full of ideas. We have a list of people's suggestions. So the first steps are we gather what we want.
It's so bad. I'm just saying.
I really want this, guys. Can we do something like this?
Sometimes things get bigger than they should be. Or like, let's just throw it in. Because I really want it.
I really want it. I really want it. We do have a list of suggestions, so don't hold back. Like, we were working on a way for it to be streamlined as far as like a submission form or different things. But like when people are posting on social media, our social media coordinator, Jen, is constantly copying and pasting those and putting them into a document for us. So we evaluate the documents. We try to make sure that, again, as we choose what designs, we'll sometimes pick a theme. Like we'll say what we want.
Say sometimes it is a theme, or if it's like a catalog release, we're like, let's try to hit these types of sets. And then we brainstorm ideas, or if it's a Kiwi club, then we look at the paper designs and the themes and try to get some ideas rolling, brainstorming that process of what would work well with it.
And then we take every design through the ringer. Like, in other words, we oftentimes will look, this is the funnest part. Well, all of it's fun when it comes to this part. But we'll take suggestions, we'll kind of drill it down. We'll say, okay, what ones are actually not too gimmicky or not too like specific. Just because we have learned through, like, especially if it's going into a catalog, those just they don't sell.
Specific ones are hard.
Yeah, they're harder to sell. Doesn't mean we don't do it. It's just go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, or if it is a specific item, say like this last month we threw the boot in, you try to put a few other things that can like
expand it.
Right. So people aren't like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. Like I use my boot with flowers coming out for a page for everything. Yeah. With page with my girls, like, and I was like, that's cute. Right. That's cute. See, we use the reason why we laugh about the word cute, because literally if you're in a meeting, but if like we had a buzzer every time somebody said the word cute. Even we have no other adjectives, guys. We were just like, that's cute. That's cute. Let's do that. That's cute. Unless it's ugly. Then we say that's ugly.
That's good.
Yeah, that's cute. But the important thing is that even whether that's our designer templates or our Kiwi Club, like we really try to come at it from different angles. Like, okay, well, what else can we use this for? Which is crazy because sometimes, like, I'm trying to think of like a set, well, like the little creatures that we thought, oh, you can make these 5 different woodland creatures. Wait, am I getting creatures? You can make these 5 different designs. And then like I threw the challenge out to creative partners and they came with like 3 more that we were like, we didn't think of those. Like, you know what I mean? Right.
It's always fun to see all the different ideas. Like even somebody posted the baseball cap the other day and I was like, that's super cute, really thoughtful.
Yeah. So it's always fun to see, like we try to think outside of the box as far as versatility, like not just like looking at a design for what the design is, but like how many other ways could you use that design or layer the designs? Because of course we love layering. But then it's always fun to see how people come up with ones that were like after 10 years.
Right. Why didn't I think of that?
Like I didn't even think of that. And that is the beauty of creativity. It just amazes me when you really open yourself up to it. We are seriously all creative. So
yeah.
Then after that, it goes to production. It goes to, it gets into a digital format. And then it goes to prepping for sizes and cutting. We critique our cuttings. If we feel, I personally, I'm really picky on that. I'm always like, I pay attention to I know, again, it's so silly, but it's not silly. Internal, like, what are my emotions? What are my feelings if I feel even a tense of little like, ugh, then I'm like, guys, it's a little.
Right. Or if you're checking a template, and we're cutting it and there's like one little corner where I'm like, oh, I didn't really like cutting that part. Then we'll like smooth it over. It's like, we'll do lots of adjustments on sizes and things to make it easiest to cut. And sometimes if it's hard to cut, you throw it out and find something better. Like, it's just.
I think the important thing is like, again, like we love, you absolutely. I think some people are like ballets or dance. Like, again, I think the thing is too, is just to realize the Play to Create system, the strongest source that you have for setting a mood or theme or anything is the paper.
Oh yeah.
The paper is what's going to change it. The designer templates are what framing your page, but the paper is what's really setting that tone and that mood. I remember one person was like, I really need Disney paper. And I was like, well, you really just need some
colors that match your
red, yellows, and some blacks.
Right. You just need the right colors. It could be a cute floral in those colors and you're good to go.
Yeah. So you can kind of set that mood too. But no, so we take all of that into consideration. And we do have, like, I think somebody said, like, can we see your bucket of ideas? And I was like, well, it is always heart-wrenching. It is like this bitter thing, for whatever it's worth. when we have to itemize and say no to some for the time being, forever.
And you put it in a Ziploc and you're like, this will come later.
Yeah, you put it up in the creative bar and you're just like, okay, one day. So
there was a thing that's been held for a future something that I was really excited for. So that will be fun when that comes out at some point.
I remember with the hexagons, we were holding on to that for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting for the perfect one that we were like, okay, this is the one. Let's do it.
And I love them. I use them all the time.
I always wonder how you guys keep up coming with ideas. Ideas are, it really is, the more you can tap into, I've learned so much about creativity, just in the sense of researching and understanding it just a little bit more for myself and experiencing it. But it's the process. It's sometimes we hit blank walls, but if anything, I've learned that if you give it another day or two, the ideas will come.
Right. Or if you brainstorm in our group, like one person's idea might spark the other person an idea that takes it further. And so sometimes one person's idea snowballs between the group to create the final product. And so a lot of times, there's strength in just having the group.
Which with the Kiwi Club, for whatever it's worth, when we announced the Kiwi Club 2 years ago in 2018, a little over 2 years now, I guess. But that's every month production. So we it keeps us going, and they're very tight turnarounds. So we are constantly on the wheels on those. And so it's good stuff. But Kiwi Clubs are fun because we are actually able to pull on some of the ideas that we've been holding on to. And it's where we can get a little bit more personal ideas too, we feel like, because again,
you can throw a cute little specific piece in sometimes because it goes with the paper, and it's super fun place to get to have those.
Yeah. So there's a little pitch again for the Kiwi Club, guys. If you don't have it. It's amazing. It just genuinely is.
It is.
I love using it every single month. I love it. I love it. Okay. So that kind of gives you an insight into the creative process. Yes, a lot of people are saying, suggestions. We are so active. Well, it's just another passion of ours is to be where you guys are too in our community. I know, I try to oversee that personally in that level. So I try to make sure, again, to be a pulse on all of that. So if you guys comment, we're seeing it, we're listening, we're hearing. We might just adjust it a little bit just because of what we've learned through business as far as, that's, we say we want that, but it's not going to sell that great and we can't get stuck with it. So, but yeah, just different things like that. We absolutely love that part. I love that part.
Yeah.
I sit in a lot of meetings. I sit in marketing, I sit in finance, I sit in all these, but when we have our product meetings and we get together, I'm like, these are the fun ones. Let's do this one.
The creative outlet part.
Okay. Then where do you get inspiration? We talked about that. How do you come up with the themes? We talked about that. Where do you get your ideas for templates? We talked about that. How do you come up with such creative new patterns each month? Deborah Meganson asked. Kind of the same concept.
Paper? Is that what?
Patterns, designs, yeah.
There's a million different ideas rolling around. Yeah. That's never going to be a problem.
We have 4 different designers. 5 designers. We have 5 designers. So Shiloh's a designer. Her daughter, Clara, is a designer, by the way. So she's amazing. What's the last one she did?
I'm trying to not talk about things that I'm like, which one's
it from? I know I looked down and I saw next Kiwi Club and I was like, oh, she did that one.
She did the nautical one.
Oh, she did the nautical one. That's right.
That was her last
in the nautical. And then Stephanie, who's actually one of my nieces too, she does the papers. Her last one was the sunflower.
You're the worst.
Your little hint for next month's Kiwi Club, guys.
Like, you let the cat out of the bag every other minute. Sorry, everyone who wants to be,
Like, what month are we at, guys? I thought we were
like trying to take a minute to think.
Oh, it's a cute one. You guys are lovely.
Because of our idea books for the monthly things.
I know, because when by the time we're done, I'm like, dude, it's a month ago. I don't know where we're at.
I know, like, which one are we on?
And then of course Shiloh is a designer. I'm trying to think the last one you designed.
I can't even remember where we're at in this this year. I know that the one that I'm really excited about, the sample run, sitting on my desk right
not
now.
done yet.
Really, really cute. One of my best. Oh, I think my last one was June. I did the guy one.
Oh yeah. The guy went the cliffhanger and that was
yeah, with cliffhanger in it. That was.
Yeah. Who did the Southwest one?
That was me too.
That was you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm trying to remember where we're at and what's released. So yeah, Trailblazer was mine too. And
then occasionally I get thrown in the mix as well, and then we have all of us kind of wrapped up in it. Like my last one was the puzzle one.
That one was the fun one.
That was the last one I did. Yeah, on this radar. I actually have one that's due like Monday, and Mindy keeps emailing me, Susan. I'm like, I know. I've just been really busy.
It's hard to slide it in. Yep.
So
well, some people are happy that you're letting it out of the bag a little bit.
They do. They love that. I know. They know I'm pretty easy.
You're known for it, Susan.
Where are we at on the month? August 20th? Oh, it's good enough. Mindy's.
I'm
sorry. August in my mind has like been so a blur. I'm like, wait, is it over yet? No, we're not over yet. August is not over yet.
It is hard because it's been weeks and weeks since all that was done. But,
I know.
Yeah.
I just looked down. Kerrigan, you sound just like Emily. I do. It's genetic. Emily's it's almost exhausting how much Marco Polo, like when we're on Marco Polo, we sound like each other. Okay. So future product questions really, really quick. Again, feel free to jump off when not or needed, guys. I'm just trying to get through some since you guys were so generous to take your time to submit these questions. I just thought we would just quickly go through just a couple of them. Idea book questions. When do you think the next idea book will be out? Next year. Next year, the X&R idea will be out. That's all I'm going to say on it. It's in the process. So I can promise next year. Which release or which quarter of next year, I can't promise that. But next year. Will there be an idea book number 4? I just answered that. Yes. And it will be a product form. Will the idea book number 1 or 2 come back in for the paper form? Probably not. We do a couple runs on the idea books, and the moment they're gone, they'll go to digital format, and then we'll take whatever investment capital, the money, because it's pretty costly to do those, because you got to do them in big numbers. Again, this is really personal, but you guys asked. It goes to the other, and that's why we choose to do that, is so that we can produce a new book and then the other ones can go digital. But yeah, so when they are in physical, make sure you grab them while you can, because they won't always be available in physical. So like, for example, number 1, we probably won't print that again unless we get like crazy amount of requests and can guarantee that expense as far as a company goes. So we love the idea books too, by the way.
The video just went off.
Oh, we do love the idea books as well.
Yes. Yep.
I even sometimes will pull that thing out and be like, okay.
Well, it's interesting how it can spark an idea where you're just like, there's an element on a page, you're like, I really like that, and then you'll pull it in to what you're doing.
And I think that's what's fun, is because it's an idea book that you can actually reproduce what you see or similar to it, you know what I mean? Because the tools are there, unless of course they're discontinued, but it's not hard to get similar fashion in as far as the design goes. I know that it was always heartbreaking sometimes when I saw designs and I'm like, well, that's going to cost a fortune to do, or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
When the embellishments, it was like total eye candy, but I was like, it's not practical in any sense. So, okay. So unvaulting questions. We probably got like 8 questions on like, will you ever bring back Journey? Will you ever bring back Umbrella? Will you ever bring back, just all like 6 questions on that. So our concepts, so when you hear us use the word like the vault, the Kiwi vault, because we use everything with Kiwi, the term, we stick it in a vault. So it's a never and never it's more of a time thing. And it's just more for allow more growth, more new growth to come in. And so we kind of keep our pulse on that to see, like, as far as new customer accounts, new growth, new things, because we're still sharing, actually. So kind of going back to the thing, like, our goal as far as the future, like, we want to share this with as many people because it was so transformative to not only our style and our process, but like our confidence in creativity as well, you know. So are you watching the comments, Shy?
I was, sorry. I look down every so often just to see if there's anything we need to be paying attention to. I was just laughing about how many times I've seen mini borders show up here.
I know. It is a little fun because it was like they did not sell at all. Like
they didn't. They just sat there, but they are super fun. Like, I love them.
You were disappointed. Yeah.
Like, they're so fun. I just used it on something recently. It was just a perfect.
It's also kind of why we adjusted our tiny borders to be 6 inches, because you can get a very similar look.
Right.
I mean? And so again, let's just say mini borders have come up for many discussions to the point where we might have to put a poll out and see exactly where everything is sitting, because I've seen so many people say it, but it does make you smile on that for sure.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, yeah, we have to have the numbers to justify the order. And
every time we have to discontinue, it's like we have this debate. We're supposed to, we need to, we should. Like,
but will we? No.
Like, so that's why it's not gone, because we absolutely want them back in different ways too. It's like,
yeah,
you'll see them again. You'll see them again.
It'll happen.
So hopefully that answers a lot of you guys' question on our unvaulting process. And it's that there is always hope, always, always, always. One of the things in the process, as we're talking about them, we want to do like a yearly or twice a year vote back, like vote back your favorite designer template. So that's something the team has actually brought up in our leadership meetings. And so we hope to get that into the process in a way for people to voice their opinion at least once a year, maybe twice a year, so that we can have that to kind of make our job easier, because we would just bring it all back if we could. Okay, and then the last questions, unless somebody else asks anything, that kind of covers the heart of products questions, some of the day-to-day questions. I hope that covered a little bit again on some of the processes. Processes are a lot of living, breathing things as well when it comes to day-to-day. So what direction do you see Kiwi Lane going in the next 5 years? How many anticipated products do you see Kiwi Lane introducing? And do you anticipate any new clubs in the future? Wow, Laura Vingara. That is a lot of good questions.
Yeah, it is.
We see Kiwi Lane in the future. Again, when we changed our mission, we really wanted to try to simplify creativity, not just for the scrapbooking world, which is where our hearts and our first love lives, but we really want to try to help other creatives simplify the process so they can find confidence and they can find joy and fulfillment in the creative process, whatever art or form that might be. So we'll see how that goes, but we really want to help other creatives. It breaks my heart literally when I see and I was once there too. I once doubted my creativity. I once felt that way, just like Shala was saying, but it does break my heart when I hear people say that, because I'm like, oh, you either need to simplify it, you're overthinking it, or you just need a little bit of a practical tool. You know what I mean? Not just some fancy little thing but something that actually allows you to actually accomplish it in a practical way. So we have some work cut out for us, but we can see ourselves really hopefully to simplify creative process in general across a broader spectrum, always staying true to our first love, which is scrapbooking. What new products do you have planned for 2021? So we actually, I think I vaguely mentioned this in a last update, but like we have switched to a quarterly release. We felt like smaller releases instead of 2 times a year releases is a good idea. And our plan is to release every quarter, every 3 months, 2 to 4. Again, we really want to keep it just small releases throughout the year so that we can spread the budget. Again, not for us, but for you guys as well. We fell into a traditional 2 times a year release because of that's what everyone did. And also because of our limits on catalogs. But as we have evaluated and learned from that, we've learned, you know what, let's take out that concern for catalogs, move it to a digital, and try to really get a good resource there, which has opened up the door to allow us to explore a different process as far as new releases go. So hopefully that answers your question. Kiwi Clubs every month. Every quarter, we plan 2 to 4 items. I say 2 to 4 because sometimes, like I said, we hit that point where we're like, I want it so bad.
I know, it's so bad. We're like, what's one more?
But we always are surprised because, yeah, I mean, definitely initially we were like, are we going to keep up with all these ideas? They just, they're there. We have
never even run out. We generally end a meeting with too many things that we can put out. And that's, yeah.
But that's because we really love what we do, and we of course use it too. So it's kind of self-serving.
We love it, you love it, right?
Right, exactly. We can love it, that you guys can keep loving it, and we'll keep moving forward and growing. And so that's always fun. It really does bring me so much joy. I hope that it brings you guys a lot of joy as well. Okay, so that's kind of the, do you have anticipation for any new clubs in the future? Yes, we expect to have new Kiwi clubs. We're trying to make our processes and our website choices and all of that with the mindset of scalability. So why? Because we expect to change, to grow. So, and we're trying to simplify, making it as easy as possible right now to make sure that platform, because that's one of the many things we had to learn along business is like, okay, well, let's start thinking of scalability to get us past this point. So anyways, anything else, Shai, you got to add?
Well, I don't have a list of questions in front of me. So did we answer all the things we need to answer?
I think that's the umbrella of it. Like I said, there was over 100 questions, but I tried to compress them into different categories. A lot of them vault, a lot of product processes, a lot of future things. I think that the other question, just because we're going to go back to a harder Kiwi story, is like, let's see. Think of your worst, Natalie Shimanek. Think of your worst business moment. How did you come back from that?
Oh, yeah.
Because business is hard.
It's
ups and downs. I would say the moment where we tried out crowdfunding, because we were working so hard, and you'll see this in that timeline, that idea book timeline. You'll see this repetitive thing, but we just we kept thinking, man, but it took a lot of our effort. We wanted, I guess, the easy road. I don't know if we would say that. Sometimes we just were we're hoping that this would work out, like, right?
We were just trying to figure out how to grow. Yeah. And that was an avenue that had come open at the time as a thought. And we had already exhausted quite a lot of other.
We tried Shark Tank. We tried
a lot of ways to make it happen.
Because if you can remember, around 2009, guys, like the economy was
it was bad.
Yeah.
It was just bad. Nobody was giving out loans or anything like that. Like, we didn't have a lot of options. The good thing is I'm sure it's the way that God wanted it to be, because it forced us to grow a little bit slower than maybe we were thinking at that time. And it was hard. It was really awful when it
not only forced, I guess, in what you just said, like to grow at a certain pace, but it also made us learn like so much, like to create a foundation that we can really like stand on. And that was our goal. Like, we didn't want it just to be like, you know, a business that showed up and then gone. Like, we were hoping that we continue to change this industry, the scrapbooking industry, or, you know, the creative industry, but just be an impulse or an influence in that industry. We didn't want to just let it, we wanted to be smart too. So yeah, that was really hard. The crowdfunding, I think I lost it. Shiloh doesn't see me lose it much.
That was rough. That was a hard moment.
I remember going over your house just being like in tears.
Yeah.
Also, when the software crashed this last time, my kids never seen me like that. They're like, Mom, and I'm like, it's okay. Just learn to take a break. You don't learn to quit. Like, I keep trying to teach them these lessons through these things. Like, so as far as like getting back, like, you take a breather and then you go back at the drawing board. Like, you just go back, you know?
And we just hope that everybody sticks with us through some of the hiccups as you guys have.
They're inedible. Like, anybody that grows or does anything, you have to live and learn. And so sometimes you do have to do that. But no, yeah, that crowdfunding, I think it wasn't the disappointment. It was the impression, the narrative of the intention.
The reaction. Yeah, that was hard. Because that wasn't what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. But it also taught me the most valuable lesson that anchored, which I see as a blessing, you know, from God, that he knew I needed to learn that lesson. And that was that, Susan, you're just not going to make everybody happy, you know? And it was just like this realization that we'll do our best. Like, in customer support, our bar, like, we constantly are going back to our team. Okay, well, let's try to improve it next time, or let's not do it that way, or like, how can we be better, or like, you know, but also at the end of the day, just, it is hard. It's hard. Yeah. Just sometimes you just can't make everyone happy. So, but
we do our best.
Yes, we do our best.
Try to move past.
And when we make a mistake, we try really hard to quickly fix that. But yeah, so we're excited. This last year, I'll end on this note, just as far as, you know, expanding and growing, we talking about past lessons. And I think that's kind of, for me, as I look back, like, it was so important for us to take each one of those avenues and those roads. So I hope you do take a minute and read the Timeline Idea book. And of course, hopefully use the sketches and the ideas and create something of your own with them. Hopefully it inspires you in that way too. But anyways, so just looking back, like, each pivotal moment, whether that was redefining character or growing or just learning and evaluating, living and learning in different ways. But it was important, I feel like, for every single one of those. And I think we had our biggest epiphany at the end of 2019, where it was like, okay, like, what do we want, and why do we want it, and how do we want it? And all of these are saying to do it this way, and we're putting ourselves here, but what is our internal voice saying? You know, like, a lot of times, and I think that's another pivotal lesson, if I could say, was just like, for me to realize the Lord's like saying, okay, you're watching, but I'm trying to like speak to you in a different way, and it might look a little bit different, outside of the box per se.
Sometimes different is good.
Yeah, sometimes, but it's also sometimes scary, you know, in a different form, in different ways. And so everybody will have its journey, and it's been a crazy journey. So for sure, crazy journey.
It has crazy, but good.
But you know what the great thing is? Sometimes at the end of those days, you know what my therapy is? I go scrapbook. Scrapbook. I know, it always just makes my kids are like, wait, are you working or not working? I'm like, no, I'm not working, but technically I'm working, because I will probably share this in work.
But it still is a great stress reliever.
Oh my gosh, it is my go-to, like, legit. So when you guys ask how many times I scrapbook, I probably scrapbook once a week, because it's like my therapy session. So
yeah.
It's great. I have more issues than Shiloh, I guess, but
no, it's not that. My life is just very different.
I know, I know it is.
I usually schedule out like a week where I can really focus on scrapbooking, because that, and I love it, because for that week I just know that I've scheduled everything else around it, so I can have that time to create and make my things. And I love having the Kiwi Clubs, because I know I'll at least get that much done every month. And I usually try to do a little more on top of it, but I know that I'm going to at least get that much done every month.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, I love it. I love creating, and you can't help but feel joyful by the time you're done, even as you start, but when you end and you see what you've made,
yeah,
it's a beautiful feeling, and it's
yeah,
worth it.
Something beautiful.
Every time.
Specifically in the art of the scrapbooking, because of the combinations of counting your blessings at the same time as tuning into your creativity. So,
right.
All right, guys. Well, we've kept you long enough. You guys are troopers for hanging in there. But thanks again for all of those of you that have submitted your questions. I hope this gives you a little bit more insight. We could chat with you guys forever, honestly. Don't forget that we have events, live events all day tomorrow, all day Saturday. So you can tune in, you can catch the playbacks on our events tab over in our community on our website at kiwilane.com. So they'll also be feeding through here on Facebook, so you can catch them here. But if you're worried about the playback or how to catch any, or like where to catch them at, make sure to check out our events tab, and you can go back on dates to see previous ones and quickly click on those. Just give it 24 hours to catch back up. And then of course, don't forget, like, if you are one of those that have been like screaming at us, now is your chance. I absolutely love the party accessory. Is one of my favorites. I'm excited because now I got to use it a little bit more frequently, because
will be really fun.
Everybody gets the opportunity now, so we can't have any naysayers for a little bit until we grow a little bit more starting tomorrow. So please share this with your friends, because hopefully we have more and more new people. So, which is why everything goes into the vault, because we definitely want to give fair share. So thank you guys so much. We will we'll connect with you guys soon. All right, keep playing, creating, and connecting. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.